Hello, friends. My name's Brendan Raymond, if you haven't seen me before. And I've just come back from Beyond Festival at the Kangaroo Valley, um, where the theme was this idea of a gentle revolution. And it was particularly looking at gender based violence. And this weekend, this was over the course of a weekend, has really gotten me thinking about this issue. Um, because if you look at some of the other bits and pieces that I've worked on, it's very much focused around this idea of identity. And identity is something that I'm really passionate about. And the thing with gender-based violence is, of course, it's a massive issue here in Australia, and just really in an endemic, and the statistics are terrible. Um, I don't know them off the top of my head, but they're really not good, putting it mildly. And stuff needs to happen, but a lot of the time, what's talked about is dealing with the impact of that violence, and of course, that's something that's important that needs to happen. But also, just as important, if not more important, is also actually going, well, how do we stop this from happening in the future? And how do we prevent this from happening in the first place? How do we be proactive rather than just reactive? And so the question then becomes, well, who is causing that violence? And by process of elimination, in the majority, that is men. And so we go, okay, so how do we stop this? And for many people, the answer seems to be around, around the justice system, and criminalisation, and prisons and all this sort of thing. And while of course that needs to happen to some extent, and is important. At the same time, often it doesn't actually solve the problem. I don't know if I've looked into this properly, but I don't know if you had a look at those who have been instigators of domestic violence, if after they've gone to prison and come back, if that has changed that, or not. I don't really know, and that's probably going to be dependent on a number of factors and different things. But coming back to this, winding back around, I guess, something I guess that I believe is that what we do comes out of who we are, or who we believe we are. And so when because we are broken people fundamentally, and so when we act out of that brokenness, or when we act out of trying to cover that brokenness, or trying to project that brokenness onto someone else, or blaming someone else for that brokenness, and we act in a broken way, and that can obviously hurt people. And so that's what we see happening is, I think, people who don't know and understand who they truly are. That's, to me, I think that is the real root of the problem here. Is people not truly understanding who they are and who they are made to be. Is men not understanding who they're actually meant to be as men, and instead buying into what society has taught them, or what Hollywood has taught them about masculinity, which has become what has buzzword at the moment of this toxic masculinity, which is very much about this power and this strength, and this dominance, and that's really the focus of it, and obviously that's not okay, and that's not really and truly what real masculinity is about. And so we go, okay, how can we change this? How can we change this? And that's really what I'm passionate about, and that's what I want to be a part of. And that's, I guess, what I see as my part in this gentle revolution that was talked about during this Beyond Festival. Is going, helping people to actually see who they truly are, helping people to understand identity, helping people to understand masculinity, and actually framing it in a way that helps people to live their lives in a way that is true, and in a way that is more free as well. And for me, that very much comes from a Christian understanding, and from an understanding of God. But that doesn't mean that you need to come from that same understanding to be able to find your identity, or to be able to grow in your understanding of yourself. So yeah, I guess that's something that I wanted to talk about briefly here, and yeah, just to express, I guess, what my passion and my heart is here. I guess my hope is that I can be more involved in going forward.